I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't know if I'm doing anything particular. I don't know if I have any plans. I mean, I'm just gonna sit and talk, I guess. So I've made some stark realizations. Like, I was watching. I was watching a video. And it was talking about like being sex trafficked, and like the person was reviewing another person, and like one girl was saying they don't think they don't agree with sex trafficking, but they're okay with sex work. They're like they don't mind sex work being done. They wouldn't do it themselves. It's like, I'm okay with it, but it's not for me, kind of thing. And the other girl that was reviewing this other girl was saying, well, of course you don't like sex. Well, I mean, of course it's not. You come from a loving family. It would not be something you would do if you have that kind of background. And it just clicked, something clicked inside of me, and I'm like, I understand more with these people who get pulled into that kind of stuff. And there's a multitude of things that people get into. It's not like the Taken movie where you get kidnapped and then sold into that kind of stuff. Although I believe that happens too, but that's not most of the cases. Most of the cases, the girls willingly go, and whether they're underage or not, it's like there's a willingness of them. They think they're doing something else, and then they get tricked into doing this, and then or they knowingly know that, and they think it's a grand lifestyle, and then they find out it's not nearly what they were sold, and then they're tired of it. They're or whatever, for whatever reasons they or they may just like some aspects of it but don't like other aspects of it. That's kind of a lot of the reality cases, I think, are this just and it's, again, it's like different aspects. It's not all one set of and you can't even, like, for most people, if they're getting legally, it's like, this is sex trafficking, this is not. It's like there's no direct definition of it. So it's like, what is considered, and where most people would be broadly thinking that anybody that's feels like they are doing work against their own will, they would call that. Or if you even at one point feel like you are doing it against your will, like you may have gone into it willingly, but then you find out and then you're like, I'm not willing anymore. It sounds familiar with other things, right? I'm not trying to make any correlations between the two. It just seems like there seems to be I don't want to get into all of this. I don't want to drill into why or how, or it's more like more of my, it's like what kind of mindset it takes to even be tricked into these kinds of things. The kind of lifestyle, the work. It's like whatever it is, and it's like I'm not shaming on anybody. I'm not trying to shame on anybody. Because I feel like, wow, that could have just as easily been me getting involved in something like that. Like why? Why do I know that? because it's like, when you when you find that, okay, not find, I've known this, and I've known this for a long time. It's like, okay, my mom went and joined the polygamous cult. She joined this polygamous cult. She took us 3 older kids with her. And I say that from now because my dad remarried later, and I have younger brothers. But from those that were born, we went with mom, and I remember that time that I was out there, and the kind of the strangeness, and when you see other exposed cults out there, you kind of go, yeah, I can relate. I can see how people get sucked into these cult groups, and you kind of wonder, like, it shouldn't be obvious that this is wrong, or that there's something like not right about, and you're looking for some escape. Like, people are always looking for some escape, and they're finding it in these charismatic people, and they're promising all sorts of wonderful things, and that just sells pretty easily. And I don't know the specifics of what was going on in my mom's mentality at that time when she went and joined this group. I didn't grow up in the cult. My dad came and found us and took us kids away. But it's left an impressive image, yeah, whatever the right word is. I remember some of the things that were done. I mean, I was 4, and I think I had my 5th birthday at this place, whatever it was. And it's like other things, that a group trip to a library. Well, the kids went to a library. Well, went to the nearby town, and like reading a Peanuts book, and deciding that it was a coloring book, and coloring in this library book that was a Peanuts comic. Being scolded quite sharply for doing that. It's like, how was I supposed to know? 4 to 5-year-old kid. How was a child supposed to know that was? It just seemed like the scolding was way too harsh for what was the action, or like for the child who did the action, and the scolding related to it just didn't seem like it was fit. I mean, even looking back, it's just way too harsh. And yet, it's like, I know people get punished severely for a lot less things. And then, like, afterwards, it's like there was a drive around a park, a field. There was no equipment, no like a playground, but we were let out to go play on the field. And that's just one memory I've had, one day in this place. There's several others, but that's the kind of memory. It's like memories like that, they just stick. And it's like when people find a new religion, yes, there's reasons why you get sucked in, or why it seems to fit, or why it seems to, like, yeah, we like this. and it's usually you're easily duped. You're easily easily manipulated. Um, and there's a lot of scams out there that do much worse than these cults do. It's like the cults get the a lot of the bad press because of they end up being extreme, or they end up being um, or it's just the extreme ones that get the most news, and that seems to play on how everybody thinks of all cults. And it's like, well, probably not. Probably not all cults are like that. There are probably lots of groups, lots of even smaller groups that are just not even register on anybody's radar because they don't get such a huge following, or don't get the funding, or for whatever reason. But there's probably a lot of them out there. Just groups that are having their own way of thinking and want to be set aside from the main society. I'm going to fast forward to just a little while ago. It's like I had some people that I thought were friends, and it's like this is just an example of why I think I could have easily been sucked into this kind of mentality. It's like these friends continually, these friends, people I thought were friends, continually did things I just thought, that I think after the fact, I'm like, why did I get sucked into? Why did they get me? It's like they had me renting the bottom. Oh, they got me into renting the bottom of their house, renting basically a room. It had compartmented spaces, but it was 6 feet tall. Like that was, I'm 6'2", so my head was bumping on the. And I even knew going into it, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Don't. And they just charmed me and talked me into it, and I did it. It's like I went with it, and I'm like, why did I do that? And that's just one of the things that they got. It's like they wanted to do this. They were basically bought into this MLM, multi-level marketing. I mean, I know that now. I didn't know that name before, but I don't even remember the name of the actual thing that they got involved with. But it was an MLM. And if you've ever seen like a lot of these other MLMs, it's same like pattern of how they suck you in, and the kind of like what their structure. And it's like it's so cringy how they try to get me sucked into it, and I like nope, no. I like knew on that one that one was not something I was going to do, because they couldn't sell me on wanting to make a lot of money. That's just one thing I just have like that's a strong mental block on that. It's like no, because anything that tries to sell me on making a lot of money, it's like yeah, no, I don't care. I've seen rich people just have the most miserable life. So money is not a selling point. It's like yes, I understand money can help you get through a lot of things and can seem to make your life easier, but it's like it adds a lot of complications. And if you're not ready to deal with those, you're gonna find yourself in it's like I don't want to. That's not a threat. I'm not trying to make that a threat. It's just because some people are able to work it out just fine. But just like a general, the show-offiness of it, the opulence, it's just not appealing to me. So, but they did. It's like not only this place, but I left them in that place, and I went, and then they got me sucked back in again a little bit later on another venture they had going. It's like, why did I do that? And then, yeah, no, it's like, I don't want to go into details about there, but it's just, it's just how easily I was sucked in, how easily they could charm me, even when I knew going into it, it's like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do, and that's like they just charmed me right up, and I just, it's like, why can't I have more, like, self value, and it's like, it's weird that I didn't get more easily sucked into a lot of other types of things. Like, why did I not, if I was so easily sucked into those kind, it's like, and it's just, I think the right people weren't there, or the certain type of people did not try to, because I think like any girl could have like easily hooked me up or been like my girlfriend, or try to be my girlfriend, and just turn me into her, basically her. Well, it's like, I don't know, because like sugar daddy is like an older term. It's like like somebody like me now going after somebody younger, like half my age, would be a sugar daddy kind of situation, or but that would be. But what would it be if the girl is the one that's working on me to be that for her? It's like that sounds like a different kind of thing, not a. Because I think most sugar daddy type situations are the older guy knows. It's usually a guy. It doesn't have to be. It can be like can be an older female too, going after younger guys. But it's usually the older guy knows what he's doing, and he knows, and he's looking for somebody that's eye candy, that can be that usually the girls that get, they know that's what they're getting into, and they just like having a free ride for a while. They don't go into it thinking it's permanent. Neither side goes into it thinking it's permanent. They just it's it. But it's like, what would it be if it's like, girl just not tricks a guy, that's the wrong word, but just like it finds it easy to manipulate a guy to do things for her. And no, I don't think this is most females. I don't think this is the typical behavior that most females do. I think they get into something like that sometimes, but it's like, the kind of manipulation I'm thinking of is more deep. It's like they know that they know that I would be an easy target for that kind of thing. Or they know like people like me, gullible guys that they could take advantage of. It's like they know that either they're mentally weak or mentally like just not it's not a dumbness versus smartness. It's like because gullibility is usually towards like the less smart. And I'm trying not to make fun of anybody in saying these things, but because there's some people out there that they're just gullible with certain types of interactions. It's like, oh, you show me a little bit of affection, I'll follow you around like a puppy dog. I feel like that would have been me. I would have followed somebody around. Like if you just show me a little bit of affection, it's like, whoop, yep, yeah. So this video I watched that was talking about like sex trafficking and seeing how people could be duped into it. It's like, yes, I see what their meanings. Like, you come from a strong family background, you're not going to get sucked into those kinds of things. And I don't think it's just about this, but I do think that having that sense of self-confidence and self-worth that you usually get from a strong family background. If you don't have that, you're more of an easy target for these kinds of activities. And so just realizing it just made me go, I really need to, because I don't feel like, I don't know what the word is, I don't feel unhappy with my life. I mean, like, if you watched any of these, it's like you kind of get a feel like, hey, you're not depressed. You don't come across like you have a lot of mental depravity. It's like, I hate saying that too, because having mental health issues can be a lot of different things. Like, you can feel like not normal, like not a neurotypical, and still be like okay with life and happy about life and just, like trying to get things done. It's like, do I feel happy about life? It's like I get into some moods, some really deep moods. Like, a lot of times at work, I'll just be like, just barely pushing along, just getting the job done as barely as I can. And there's other times I feel like, energized and ready to go and doing it all. And it's like, and I feel like most of the time it falls somewhere in between. But like, when there's something that seems to trigger on me, it's like something that feels like taking advantage of me, or like a feeling of abuse. Like, when I was talking about like communication, it's not about whether you feel like you're doing a good job at it or not. It's do both people understand each other is the thing. It's like, you can tell somebody you love them all the time, and yet if that other person does not feel it, whose fault is that? And again, it's like, is it the person who doesn't feel loved fault? Is he the one that needs to be more communicating that he doesn't feel it? Is it the party that's saying I love you? Is it their responsibility to make sure that the person feels it? It's like, it's complicated. Yes, it's complicated. And if you really care about them, then you want to know if they know, if they feel it, if they ever express that they don't, then you try to dig in and figure out, what is it? Understand on their level why they have gone like from one way to another way. And I just think that a lot of this is lost in society, who just kind of like expects things to just fit a certain way, and it doesn't fit that way. Like, that is not... I'm jumping all over the place. I feel like I am jumping all over the place. And I'm saying a lot of things, and I don't know if it's making any sense. It's okay if it doesn't. It's okay.